Magandang umaga, Manila. So, my job here is to moderate a panel. So that basically means today I'm the API between all this powerhouse of knowledge and the curiosity. So what that basically means is that I'll have to keep the humans on time, the AI in topic, and the jokes are only 50% generated by ChatGPT. So with that, I will have the moderator come up on stage one by one and introduce themselves. So starting with Lester. Lester, you don't need an introduction, but will you please come up and introduce yourself?
Okay, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Lester Cruz. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Singlife Philippines. By matter of background, I have been through the entire span of my career in financial services. I spent a whole lot of years with Citi, right? Managing multiple segments around the area of consumer, retail, investment, and insurance. I've also had the privilege of establishing the first digital-only bank in the Philippines. When CIMB, came into the Philippine market, and likewise had the opportunity to build one of the 6 digital banks licensed, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Uno Digital Bank, from white paper to reality, which is a very challenging but fulfilling task. And now I am with Singlife, moving towards delivering on our mission of providing a better way to financial independence for the Filipino people. I'm pleased to be here. Good morning, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Lester. RJ.
Thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. Sorry for my voice. So I'm just out sick yesterday. So RJ, so I have 12 years experience in terms of from banking, insurance, and of course media. And so I think, well, pretty much that's it because it's just my 5th year in terms of financial sector. Yeah.
We'll still ask you the tough questions from all the 5 years.
Thank you.
All right. Sanjay, requesting you to please come up on stage.
So hi, good afternoon. 10 minutes more. Good afternoon, okay. So this is my first time in Philippines. But if I look at background, I have worked in the US, Middle East, India, and now in Philippines. 3 decades of banking experience, mostly the traditional banking, which is branch-led model. First time in a no branch bank, but exciting times, and I see that the opportunity in Philippines provides me the right, I think maybe I'm in the right place at the right time. My introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much. Albert, may I request you to please come up on stage?
So good morning. My name is Albert Cuadrante. I'm with UnionBank. I head marketing, product governance, customer experience, and digital channels for the bank. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. And Harvey.
Thanks, Albert. Hi, my name is Harvey Libarnes. I am the Chief Digital Products and Channels Officer of EastWest Bank. That means digital channels. I had consumer payments, I had value-added services, and recently mass market as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Harvey. All right, I don't know about you, but I'm very excited to get started. Okay, there's some benefits of just moderating a panel. You get to cheat, so I can read the questions, but you have no regenerate prompt. All right, so before we get started, so here's a brief of what we're going to discuss today. So the financial landscape in the Philippines is definitely at an inflection point. Rapid digital adoption is happening, and the emergence of disruptive players has fundamentally changed in the last decade. So adding to this, AI is already redefining customer experience, streamlining operations, and driving innovation across enterprises. So with that, we'll dive into the topics for today. My first question, Lester, to you would be, with AI moving from pilots to core strategy, what's one area in your organization where it has created tangible value, and one area where adoption has been slower than expected, of course?
Sure. Singlife Philippines is an all-digital mobile-first insurance company. So primarily our interaction is limited to purely digital engagement with the customer through the smartphone. So one particular area that where we are building capabilities around AI, which we found truly meaningful, would be in the area of growth and marketing, right? Growth and marketing, because it provides us the ability to get to understand the customers better, right? An ability likewise to help the customer understand their needs. Believe it or not, most of the customers, particularly for those who are doing things for the first time, example like insurance, they also don't know what they also don't know what they need, right? So having that that capability allows us to engage them more effectively, even on a timing basis, no? Right? When I was new in Singlife, I realized that the majority of our transactions, not majority, but a good portion of our transaction volume are actually being booked in happening while I was actually asleep. Meaning there were customers doing their thing in their transactions, buying insurance, paying premium in the wee hours of the morning. There. But what does NTC restricts us from? No, of course, if I send a communication at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., right? Albeit there would be customers who are doing their business there, we will get into trouble, no? Right? So it's about understanding, where, and how we would be interacting with the customers as well. So helping the customers understand their needs, helping Singlife Philippines be proactive in addressing that need, and putting in, the proper approach and timing towards engaging the customer. So we are continuing to evolve in that area. Now, where it's a bit more delayed would be, on the side of the more sensitive, area of claims and fraud. There are highly sensitive decisions that need to be made around this area, which today we continue to still be in using a black box model in the decision-making process in some of these processes. But ultimately, we also want to be graduating, to from a human-led, machine aided model to maybe agentic, model as what we've been talking about since this morning. So that's where the lag is, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up on that side soon.
Thank you, Lester. Thanks for sharing that. And Albert, can I take the same question to you? And I can repeat the question for you. With AI moving from pilots to core strategy, what's one area in your organization where it has created tangible value, and one area where adoption has been slower than expected?
Well, for us, I think we have a dynamic inventory of our AI across the organization. Most number of AI use cases have been deployed under sales marketing. And that's really been the most return to the organization. The other area is in terms of customer service. Maybe the lot of AI to contribute the improve the operations is still service. There's a lot of that we've identified where AI can drastically improve the customers engage with us, the way we turn around inquiries and feedback. But certainly a lot of the payback has been in the area of sales and marketing.
Thank you. Thanks, Albert, for sharing that. Sanjay, from your expertise of running it across continents, where do you see the adoption being faster? And
so in our case, since we are a digital-only bank, and I think what's really changing and what we are adopting AI for is for facial recognition and for customers onboarding. I think the next would be voice recognition. So basically, anybody who's not even literate can call up and get all his transactions done basis his voice recognition. I think that's the next level of evolution. I think the other thing which has been slightly slow is in credit risk assessment, because we need to match the speed of which we want to disburse, and also ensure that regulatory compliance is utmost. Because being a regulated entity, as a bank is known in the central bank terminology, I think it's very important to be compliant, right? And things can go quite haywire in case you're not. So I think that's been the slightly slower part of it.
thank you. Thanks, Sanjay. Harvey, coming to you. So as financial leaders, how are you balancing the promise of AI with growing concerns around trust, explainability, and regulatory oversight, especially in high-stakes domains like lending, risk, or fraud?
Okay. That's a hard question. But I think when we talk about AI in EastWest, we look at things across different, across the company. So we actually started with AI with Gen AI for our chatbot. We have a chatbot called Esta that we started a few years ago. And when we started, it was as simple as the first question I asked it was, write me a song about which EastWest card I should get for myself. Right? And true enough, it writes me a song of what it does. Last year, that same app, that same chatbot generated 22 billion pesos worth of transactions. It processed 5 transactions as well, because it's clearly evolved. And then on the other side is predictive, right? And this is where you start to think about digital, not just as a channel, but as a footprint. The thing is, the more digital your customers become, the higher, in fact, the more exponential the risk also is, right? So we found that to be able to keep at pace with understanding your customers, because you now have their footprint, you're able to profile them, you can create propensity models for them, you can create all of the interfaces, you can even understand what their problems are, right? In fact, before talk about the fraud part, we've started analyzing customer complaints. Out of a sample of 1,500 complaints 45% can be addressed through Gen AI plus RPA, right? And the other 50% were just poor UI, UX that we could easily fix in our apps. So it's really understanding your customers and how they're using your apps, also profiling them throughout the process, because digital is really not just a channel, it is a footprint by which you can understand your customers, right? And this is how you grow, this is how you increase. So within a span of 1 year, our digital penetration grew from 29% to 41% last year, right? And we continue to grow. Our apps are now at 4.5, the lowest, to 4.8 in terms of the app stores. Our engagement is 74% at the lowest app, all the way to 84% MAU. So we're doing really well, I think, and we're using data all throughout. Now, so you're doing well, you're getting your customers on board, they're all going digital, then there's this thing called fraud, right? And this is also where predictive AI comes in. We're heavily invested into machine learning today. Anywhere from being able to anticipate a fraudster. We have models of a Gini 0.85 that we can predict a fraudster and be correct 88% of the time upon a transaction with 5% false positives. And that's, I think, a big part of the journey that we're in. You can't just keep growing digitally. You also have to make sure that you are using AI to secure yourself, right? And we're doing a lot of that right now. And I guess the last would be the use of AI to, if you notice, I mentioned the 5% false positives. There will come a point that you will learn, as in this journey, that you can create really good services, but you're also going to have to protect your customers. But in protecting your customers, you also have to tighten up. And in tightening up, this is where things like, how do you make it easier also for the real customers, the false positives, to get their services back and running, right? And we're also now in that stage where we're looking at the different AI solutions to be able to enable customers to re-authenticate themselves beyond OTP, because OTP simply doesn't work anymore. And the use of, for example, facial and voice type technologies for you to re-authenticate yourself is starting more and more crucial, right? So all of that is the full stack by which we're leveraging both predictive and generative AI. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Harvey. That was a powerhouse of what you shared. I so badly wanted to take notes when I was not able to. Arjun, I'm taking the same question to you. As financial leaders, how are you balancing the promise of AI with growing concerns around trust, explainability, and regulatory oversight, especially in high-stakes domains like lending and fraud?
Okay, thank you. As a financial leader, we must recognize that in order adopting AI into a high-risk domains, requires a measured approach. So this requires a balance between innovation with responsibility. So one of our few key strategies in terms of building a foundation of trust, compliance, and of course regulatory adherence is first, priority explainable and transparent AI. Second is definitely to more of like establish a robust governance with cross-functional oversight. So this means by creating AI COE with heavy involvement from from risk, compliance, legal, and various business units. So in Maybank, we have a group transformation. It's M25, but now it's M30. So we specifically established a strategic program focusing on AI alone. So this is group-wide, but this involves all regions. So this is being led definitely by Maybank Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Cambodia, and of course, Philippines. And then lastly, more focused on phased implementation with pilot projects. So we are we are focusing on lower risk areas to pilot AI. So with this, we have time to validate the model, assess fairness, and of course, refine before we scale AI application into a more critical high-impact domains of lending, risk, and fraud.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, RJ. Lester, coming back to you, and this is very focused on what we want to learn from you today. How is Singlife approaching AI to deliver more personalized and proactive financial experience without compromising on compliance or customer trust?
Sure. I'll echo some of what RJ had already mentioned. There's no running away from managing, this area, but doing proper governance, right? So in Singlife Philippines, every single implementation, whether it's on the area of technology. So this morning I've learned that technology and AI are apparently two separate tracks. But in the area both in the area of technology and AI, it has to conform with the defined risk and compliance framework that the company has, right? So this is where we try to build the importance of making sure that the implementations are first and foremost. We have to separate fact from fiction. Right? We've learned also this morning that, things may be factual, but, completely irrelevant in terms of recommendations. So we have to put the proper controls in that. And again, there's no shortcut, but to have to take a look into, the past transactions as well that are happening, doing the post-mortem, reviews of every single program that is being done. But I think the final, control that I would be able to share is in the area of a phased approach. It is very tempting to jump into, putting in all the, AI plugins into a lot of, problem areas in the business just to make things convenient and efficient for the company. But at the end of the day, as a covered and regulated, institution, fortunately or unfortunately, we are unable to take an offensive stance in terms of the area of AI, quite transparently. So we always have to take a defensive stance in all our approaches, and just really do the test and learn and phased implementation, right? From the pilot testing, once we're able to fully validate, then we slowly, but surely promote it into a regular program and just establish it as formally as we could. So those are, I guess, the measures that we are employing in the business that we're building today.
Thank you, Lester. Thanks for sharing that. Sanjay, my next question is for you. As a digital-only bank, Uno has the advantage of building AI into the customer journey from day one. How are you leveraging AI to drive smarter acquisition, deeper personalization, and scalable growth while still maintaining trust and compliance in a highly regulated space?
Okay, I think being a digital-only bank has advantages and disadvantages as always. But I think what has happened is that being a digital-only bank has made us look at partnerships in a whole new, different way. For example, our entire acquisition is usually from partnerships and direct model. We have now about close to 3 million customers in a matter of approximately 2.5 years. So that's been the scale which we have been able to build up. In terms of, what was the other part you said?
The other one is, how are you leveraging it for acquisition, deeper personalization, and scalable growth?
Okay. Scalable growth, we are looking at about 5 to 6x growth in the next couple of years, maybe more, depending upon the way things work out. In terms of personalization, I think a lot of our decisioning, especially on the loan side, is basis transaction pattern, because a lot of people do not have a credit history. So we're looking at cash flow way of lending. That's the biggest advantage we have built up. And as we move along, a couple of new products will come in, including cards and a couple of more wealth management. So that's what we're looking at to build up scale. That's the basic what we're doing.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Sanjay. Harvey, taking the question to you, as the leader driving EastWest digital product and channel strategy, how are you embedding AI to deliver smarter, more seamless customer journeys from onboarding to servicing? And what challenges do you face in balancing innovation speed with operational and risk realities?
Okay. Again, another hard question. But
I can repeat that for you.
no. I kind of get the question. The thing about digital, right, is our starting point is being a traditional bank moving outwards by leveraging digital. So the customer is very, very different if they walk in your branch and they apply for any of your banking services, loans, CASA, versus someone who comes in digitally. The risk is very different. The profiles are also very, very different. Typically, you will have lower end customers. With digital account opening also comes more potential mules, potential fraudsters. So lots of things need to change, right? First is your customer set is changing. And with that, the revenue profile also changes. So suddenly you now need to double down on digital because you also need to bring down your cost to serve, right? So when you create the whole journey of bringing customers in, the first thing you really need to do, and the first thing we've done is, who are those that really want to go physical versus those that are going to go purely digital? And we've mapped out the journeys for every single one. We've even mapped out the phygital journeys. And definitely for those who are on the lower, younger ends of the spectrum, we want to keep them on digital, and we will serve them digitally. And those who are more affluent, pretty much the Pareto, the 20% who gives you 80% of your business anyways, we want to keep them in the branches, keep them engaged. We'll even go to you, right? We'll give you an RM. But that said, so how do we serve those who are digitally? First is onboarding. You make it easy. That every bank does today. Banking is commoditized. Anyone can open an account anywhere. You can get even better rates in banks. Good. That's the easy part. The hard part is, how do you guard against those that are also trying to get in for fraudulent purposes? That's where you really need to beef up. And this is where we spent a lot of time on predictive and machine learning type of capabilities, right? Today, give us 5 weeks and we'll know whether you're a fraudster or not, right? 88% of the time we'll be correct. But given your behaviors, and then you put other controls there in the process. So the first is letting them in, but also guarding against, and this is where you use different types of forms of AI or machine learning. Then when they're in, it's all about propensity, who wants, right? And under all of this, people who come in digitally, we've made one assumption, and the moment you make this assumption, everything changes. One, if you make the assumption that all your customers are lying, and two, if you make the assumption that all your frontliners are complicit to fraud, right? Your view of the controls you need to build, how you need to embed AI into the process also changes. And we've made that assumption. So when a customer comes in, we're making the assumption that they're lying about their declared income. So we made an income prediction model where, based on how the transactions you're using, I know whether you're really earning this much or you're actually richer than you're saying you are. So we have those things in place. And the assumption being that when we have to get to know you, because you're probably going to be applying for different services, and there's no viable way to do it the traditional way where I'm going to ask every single person for a pay slip, a COE. It just doesn't work that way, right? And so your ability to validate what the customer, who the customer is, their demographics, their income and everything is central to you being able to maximize digital as well. Then when they start applying, CASA is easy, but you can start applying propensity. So we even use more tech tools like Engage today for some AI enhancement and who to offer what when, right? That's the easy part. The hard part then comes in where credit comes in. So they start applying. Now we're still young here, right? We're still young here. So it's really all about alternative scoring, behavioral scoring. There are telco scores out there that you can buy depending on the product. The Gini will be anywhere from a 0.29 to a 0.45. But yeah, so you need to figure out different ways for you to be able to also let your customers coming in through digital start to apply for your services. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of digital customers who don't get any loan from you. And that's where the fintechs are winning, right? And then there's the whole, how do you secure your customer again? And so that's the whole journey, right? And everything changes. Everything changes. Even today, we designed this new journey where you have to go to branch to authenticate a higher limit. And we realized, wait a minute, frontliner, if the frontliner were complicit to the fraud, then you're still going to get hit with fraud. So now we're thinking, okay, how do we embed biometrics into the whole, that when someone shows their face, it's the frontliner isn't even the decision maker, right? It's really the systems. So again, you have to make those big assumptions the moment you go digital. And everything, the whole ecosystem from point A when customers come in to the account management and everything else and how you support them throughout servicing has to kick in as well, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Harvey. That was very thought-provoking. Albert, taking this to you, UnionBank has been a front-runner in digital banking and CX innovation in Philippines. How are you using AI to elevate customer experience across channels, be it for hyper-personalization, predictive engagement, or service automation?
Okay, so at UnionBank, we approach AI very deliberately, but we've started going on a dual strategy of assisted intelligence and automated intelligence. So we see AI into these two aspects, and they work hand in hand as a strategy in terms of how we utilize the AI tools that we have. So in the area of hyper-personalized offers, for example, we have almost 80 models operating that allow us to cross-sell products and experiences across the different categories of customers that we engage with. And that's been a dynamic improvement for these models, retraining and refining them. And I'd say that the output that we've gotten is pretty substantial already. You know, we've gotten over 120 million incremental revenues from these models, 140 million across cost saves. So pretty substantial. On the automated intelligence, that's where our strategy around structuring our data to make sure that whatever feeds into the assisted intelligence also really helps deliver more refined customer service, more tailored offers, etc. So this is how we look at AI use in the bank. I personally don't want to use artificial intelligence because when you hear the word artificial, what does it sound like, right? It's not real. But we're using very real intelligence. So if you reframe AI in terms of these two approaches of assisted and automated, I think strategically also you begin to look at your tools very differently, and they become less of a threat. Whereas I think you see a lot of questions around, will this replace humans, etc. If anything, it replaces humans that don't know how to use AI. right? But humans who have very, very good understanding of AI will probably be very hard to replace. So that's how we see AI.
Thanks for sharing that. And RJ, I'll take this question to you. That Maybank has been a digital leader. What challenges do you face in modernizing legacy systems with AI while still showing near-term ROI?
At Maybank Group, so integrating advanced AI capabilities into our legacy system, it is now a priority, but it is complex, given that our legacy system were not originally designed and built for AI. So to navigate these challenges, first is more of like we need to have an expert-led risk-managed transformation. So this means that we need to leverage on deep technical expertise to carefully and gradually more of like transform our legacy systems into a more intelligent platform. So with this way, it will still fuel growth while not disrupting all of our banking services. And second, and we've already implemented some Maybank proprietary AI solutions internally, but we must also leverage with strategic fintech partnership. So collaborating with fintech innovators allows us to pilot cutting-edge AI solutions quickly, cost-effectively, while managing risk. So because definitely it will still be more of like, this will definitely help the bank in terms of accelerating AI and of course while enhancing our digital capabilities. So this balanced-phased approach allows us to more of like realize the full potential of AI. Yeah. Okay, so this allows us to realize the full potential of AI while still delivering tangible business value to the bank. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, RJ. And the next segment of this panel, it's okay. So let's add a little more fun to the panel. So the next segment is a rapid fire, and each of you have 1 minute to answer the question. So I'll start with the first one, and I'll start with you, Harvey. What's one decision around AI you wish you had taken earlier, or you wish you had taken much later?
Earlier, clean, structured data. And we see it in not just one, but I've seen it in at least two banks now where it really boils down to making sure that the data isn't just there, it's clean and it's structured, right? Otherwise, you really can't do anything with it. And you're going to spend so much time cleaning it up. And the AI part, the machine learning part, that's just hiring the right people. But getting that data clean and usable for everyone and making sure that it's clean moving forward is a hard thing to do. So get that done if you want to play.
Thank you. Thanks, Harvey. Sanjay, I'll take that question to you. One decision around AI had taken earlier or later?
I think the best thing we've done is to have an AI-powered credit assessment. I think something which you could have done earlier would be hyper-personalization of financial services, especially at the individual end, because that lets you do multiple things at a fraction of a cost. I think that's something which we need to build up, and we should have done it a little earlier. But anyway, better late than never.
Definitely. All right, I'll take this to Albert. I'll take this to you. One decision around AI you're taken earlier or you're taken later?
Maybe to have used it beyond writing speeches.
That's a good one. Okay, let's stop.
Me, easy. Platform development. if, we've not been around for a very long time, but if at the time that the company or the platform was being established, there was a mature enough, technology to build the base, the core platform and in the front end, in a fully, or predominantly, AI approach, that it becomes, developed by AI, quality checked by humans rather than the other way around, I would have gone for it, right? Because today, our process of development continues to be, utilizing whatever technology or available AI capabilities out there, right? Meaning the programmers and the developers use AI as a tool, right, in the course of their work. Then after the work is conducted, quality check, is done also with the use of AI. If I could reverse that, it would have allowed me to do, a lot of the things that we're doing now, far much earlier than how we've actually done it in the recent years.
Ajay, for you, a decision on AI, you wish you had taken earlier, or if you had taken later?
Well, for me, definitely, it's more of like, starting it immediately. So implementing it, more of like riding into the initial train of adapting AI capabilities. Like, for example, the first few trends with the likes of chatbot and whatnot. So at least from there, we will have an initial more of like model and information on how the customer interacts with our AI model. That.
Okay. The next question is transformational, tactical, or experimental. How would you describe AI in your organization today? And the floor is open. And anybody can answer that.
I'll take that first. I think for us, it's really transformational. We really see AI as a very, very integral part of how we are going to leapfrog from where we are at the moment. We're nearing 20 million customers in our base, and obviously there is no stopping that. But the way we are able to engage those customers will really depend on, and engage them profitably and efficiently will depend on how we will transform ourselves with the use of AI.
Sure. I'll follow up on what Albert had mentioned. For Singlife Philippines, it's both transformational and experimental, right? Because at this point, I really don't see, any way that we could be able to scale up and conquer the market without the use of proper AI, right? So it would definitely be transformational. I have the privilege of not having, too much legacy stuff to be dealing with as I build, things, because, AI, at least from a highly predictive, proactive, and trustworthy customer interaction model, the moment that we're able to build that, immediately it becomes a revenue stream. Mine is a bit of a reverse, because for most of the more established, businesses, it's, you're going to spend this, right? What is it going to be coming back with? For me, if I don't spend this, nothing is ever going to be coming back. So it really is, transformational, and AI, when trained properly, right, can eliminate the, prejudices and the biases that are natural to humans, which makes the sales process even more, or not even more, but multiple times effective. And then we're carving our ground on that area. Sometimes you'd wish that that your spouse or your boss is things like an AI, no biases, no prejudice. But that's, ultimately that's the way to go. And coming into that, the moment we start engaging, customers, it has to go beyond providing information. It has to be helping the customer understand himself. Example: if my fitness app is able to tell me to slow down whenever I am, exerting, too much effort for the past few days, and at the same time tell me that I should pick up the intensity when I'm slacking off. What is stopping us from what is stopping AI or our capabilities from being able to tell the customer that, look, this amount of money that you have intended to buy a policy, just one policy, you shouldn't, right? Split it into two and buy this two, right? Because a typical salesperson out there would only be concerned at selling the first product, whatever it is, right? But with this, I think it becomes really helpful in my line of business, and we are redefining how financial services is being served in the market as well. And I do hope, together with my colleagues here, that the stuff that we're building right now may be an exception. For the most part, will become a norm soon enough.
Thanks, Lester. And there, you actually touched upon one of my fantasies. Sure, if spouses could run on AI, I would have definitely rewritten the autocorrect prompt.
Well, that's like daydreaming, not even, it's not going to happen. So I think in our case, it's not tactical or anything. It's more like survival. For us, we need to constantly monitor our cost. We need to constantly monitor our customer interaction. It all happens through the app, right? So for us, digital first, AI first. Okay, it's not going to be second or third. It's going to be as important for us to be there, be able to interact with customers in different and dissect the customers on basis of their personas, and be able to target them with specific products or features or services. So I think it's an integral part of our survival and growth. And I think the way things are moving, I think schools should, I'm just going a little bit ahead than just banking. I think schools should definitely ensure that kids are aware of AI. They make it as a habit. Thankfully, kids are far more smarter than all of us sitting in this room. They are able to do it much more. Looking at my own children, I can tell you that for sure. So I think that's something which is going to be a part and parcel of, I remember when I started banking in '94 in the US, sales channel was just one channel. Then came digital as a channel, like net banking, it was wow. 2000, right? Then 2010 came, people started talking about mobile banking. At the 15, things started becoming bigger. Today, for us, digital is not a channel, it is a bank, right? So our entire thinking has to be very different. Whatever we can automate, we should automate and can go beyond. I think that's where the real value will come. So for us, AI is survival, I think. Thanks.
Thanks, sir, for sharing that. I'll get to the last question of the panel. If you could automate one bottleneck tomorrow in your function, what would it be? Harvey, we'll start with you.
Wow, there's so many bottlenecks. I'd say the credit side. It's a strength that we still need to build. So we are already very good at detecting things like fraud. We're very good at reading our customers and knowing their income, even when they're not being truthful about it. But it's really the credit side when someone wants to borrow, right? We're very, very good. In fact, it's EastWest strength. We're not the biggest bank, and we don't intend to be. We're a very strong consumer lending company, right? Auto loans, personal loans. This is where we play. So our intention is never to become it's really to become more and more. That said, the opportunity is really on the mid-size segment, and to keep going down that market, it's being able to leverage third-party data sets. It's being able to read customers better through alternative behavioral models. It's not just about capacity to pay anymore. It's also about a lot of willingness to pay, right? So being able to translate behavior into understanding those so that we can create better premiums okay? Price better is not to say no, but really to price better, okay? And we've started, right? Our rural bank, we do teachers' loans. You know that a lot of the teachers in the Philippines are getting pirated and flying outside? So we made a teacher's flight risk model, and we're now able to predict the probability of a teacher to leave the Philippines based on their attributes at the point in time that they're getting loans. Jenny's only about 0.56, but it's a start, right? So this is probably more something we need to do more and more, so that we can really loan customers profitably and sustainably. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Harvey. Albert, we'll take the question to you. What's one of the bottlenecks that if you have to eradicate, you have to automate? Yeah. What's one of the bottlenecks that you will automate right away?
I have a little bit more of a practical wish when it comes to that. I'm probably one of the biggest bottlenecks in my organization. I can help and clean my inbox. That would be fantastic.
That's an aspiration we all have, and we are definitely working on that. Sanjay, we'll take that to you.
I think it's the semi-manual or semi-automatic credit process. I think that's something which we need to really get the bottleneck out of it. I think a lot more develops on the infrastructure which is there in the country in terms of account aggregator or some of the other models which are there in other markets. So I think once that comes in, this semi-automatic credit assessment will go. I think that will really speed up credit. And I think that is much needed here, given the rates which we are ending here.
Definitely. Archie, would you want to take that question?
Yeah, well, actually, it's not a wish list anymore because we already piloted. So we call it May GPT. So it's more of like a chat GPT, definitely, but it's more focused on our knowledge management. So because we are heavily regulated, definitely. So we piloted in terms of like the knowledge management inside compliance and regulatory first. So that means all employees of Maybank have access to that pool of information. So that's operational efficiency. And then second one, we already piloted also. We've targeted one specific customer segment for our proposal generation. So it enhances definitely our speed and accuracy in terms of providing an accurate proposal to our banking clients. And of course, definitely, one of the benefits there is enhanced product. Thanks.
Yes, sir. I'll take it to you for sure.
Sure. Mine continues to be a wish list, right? And I with the statement I'm about to make, maybe I'm attracting some salespeople knocking at my door. But if I'm able to find, an AI solution that could beat my best performing customer service agent at a tiny fraction of the cost, right, without batting an eyelash, I will take that in, right? Because it's so much easy for us to talk about, we're creating, capabilities for enhancing, customer service. But truth be told, much of the development is happening on the, let's just say revenue generating, activities. And customer service or customer experience continue to be a cost center to any business. For a business that's scaling up, it's quite manageable. We're a few 100,000 customers. But the moment you start hitting by the millions, right, it's either becomes very difficult or very costly, right? So if I could legitimately find that, that solution, again, I'm raising my hand here. Of course, disclaimer, a fraction of the cost, and it has to beat my best performing, customer service, agent. And to me, I think that would be an ultimate solution.
I think more than finding an AI robot or a chatbot to do this, I think maybe you can make a normal salesman, a super salesman, by enabling him with multiple tools so that he's able to give the right nudge to the customer so that he buys not just one insurance, which is basically a health, but buys a term and multiple other, not for him, but for his maybe that's better approach than trying to find an AI bot to replace a human. My thought.
It's not actually about replacing, no, because if we're running for at least for people who are familiar with customer service, you typically cut it in two portions. The one would be the first level resolution, or in layman, quick kill, and the ones that are for escalation. Typically, 80% of the time, really, requires no more than the intelligence of a human to be disposing of on that case. But how you're able to manage that case, how you're able to put it together, especially if it's hitting you omni-channel, right? Example, this guy calling me, a really upset customer will hit you in every single moment of truth that you have.
Oh, yeah.
And then how you're able to navigate that timely enough, respond to that and adequately, manage the case. I think I'm so excited with the forecast of the agentic and autonomous agents that could take care of that, for us. But the human thinking, the human touch will continue to be there.
That we think is the future, where we can have the perfect combination of AI working in conjunction with human, and the mutual understanding that it's not there to replace each other. So it's intelligence working with artificial intelligence is definitely the future of it. And
Example, in my previous bank in India, we were getting a productivity about 12 new NTB per month, right? We made it 18 in a matter of 3 months, but giving the right tool to the sales rep. Just changed the whole. Suddenly he was earning about 15, 16,000 as incentive. Suddenly went to 25, 30. So he was feeling like supercharged. So he was more motivated to outdo his quota every month.
of course.
So I think that's a better way to do it.
All right, the bad thing about good things is that it has to come to an end. And while we can go on the whole day, but we have certainly run out of time. So Harvey, Albert, Sanjay, Arjit, Lester, thank you so much for all the knowledge sharing. It's been a phenomenal conversation, and I'm sure there are a ton of notes that everybody has taken. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.